Welcome to this episode of Real Talk. Thank you for being here. If you're here for the first time, please go ahead and subscribe. Look, I really appreciate all the comments, all the feedback, all the messages that I get from the episodes that we do of this. Today I'm welcoming two very special guests, two entrepreneurs doing huge things in their respective areas. You've probably, if you're following me on social media, have seen these guys on my Instagram. I share the people I work with because I love the people I work with. This is Aran Spencer, very, very talented marketer, and this is Hakeim, who is doing huge things in the Forex game right now. So first of all, I'm gonna let you guys do a bit more of an in-depth introduction of who you are, what you do, and why you do it. Aran, kick it off.
So my name is Aran Spencer-Higgins. I run a social media agency called Social Buff. I am a digital marketer and growth hacker. I've been doing it for the past 10 years, and why I do it is because I really
money.
I really love what I do, is what I was meant to say.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, what you can do with the money, that's what you love about it, right?
Absolutely.
Well, that's what we all love about it. Cool,
Yeah.
cool. Keep it brief. We're going to dig deeper in a little while. Hakeim, take the mic.
So my name's Hakeim. I run a foreign exchange and property investing firm. I just love what I do. I love helping people. I love the game of being an entrepreneur, and yeah, that's.
Why do you do it? Why do you do it? Let's jump into it. Why do you do it?
Why do I do?
Why are you self-employed? Why
am
are
I
you all
self-employed?
in on yourself?
Because one thing I get is pure freedom.
Right.
I'm working, but I work for myself.
Okay.
I wake up when I want. I go to sleep when I want. I decide if I want to take a holiday, if I want to take a break, and it's just fun.
Yeah.
I get to enjoy it.
Cool. So there's some of that's who these guys are, right? And the reason why I wanted to bring them on is the same reason I invite anybody onto the show, which is all about gaining value, insights, knowledge from yourselves, so that first and foremost, so I can learn, right? As much as I love sharing it with people who watch the stuff, I gain more from this than anybody, right? So I'm grateful for both of you for being here. Let's just jump straight into the opposite side of it. Now, you mentioned how fun it is at times, right? I want to talk more about the grind, about the hustle, what it takes to actually be successful in anything that you're doing in your entrepreneur journey. What are some of the key, points in your journey where you felt like either giving up or thinking, you know what, this is too much? And that goes for you as well.
I think with entrepreneurship, it's something very special. It's a lot of work. It is rewarding, but it's a ton of work. Like, when someone's working a 9 to 5, they do their job, they come home, they can relax, they can switch off, watch the telly, have dinner with the kids, and that's it. With entrepreneurs, you're coming home and you're still thinking about work. It's the last thing before you go to sleep, the first thing in the morning. We're on a constant cycle of work. And I don't think it's meant for everyone. I feel like entrepreneurs is a special trait. If you're meant to be an entrepreneur, you're meant to be an entrepreneur. If not, and there's nothing wrong with not being one. If there's tons of ways to make money. People in corporate level jobs can still make good money. It's just that entrepreneurship, it's a lot of grind.
Okay. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. And but the big thing that I always say is that for entrepreneurs, it's often marketed or advertised as a position where
you died to talk about this. Go ahead.
As a position where you're free. And you don't have a boss, and I think both of those points are absolutely flawed, because when you're an entrepreneur, you're not free. As Hakeim just said, you work from 7 a.m. in the morning to midnight, Monday to Sunday at times, and you're not free because your survival is dependent on what you put in. So it's an input-output game.
Totally true.
Second thing is that you don't I want to be my own boss. Well, in fact, I don't. If I was working for a company, I'd have like one boss or maybe two bosses. But right now, I have about 10 to 15 bosses because my clients are basically my boss.
Yeah.
Right. And they're in charge of what I need to do and what I need to achieve for them. And I work tirelessly for them, harder than if I was employed for them. So that would be sort of the downside.
One of the things that you just mentioned is it's not for everybody, right? So who is it for? Because look, what made you think that this is the path for me? And who is this journey for? Because I agree, it's not for everybody. This shit is hard, right? The reason why so many people don't do it is because of the sacrifice it takes. So I'm curious, like what is it about yourself that made you think this is for me, and what are the characteristics you think, if people have these characteristics, they can go for it?
Definitely. I think, entrepreneurship was something I was very interested in from young. I ran a Dragon's Den campaign when I was in year 3, I believe.
Yeah.
I started my very first business when I was I'd say 12.
Okay.
And ever since then I've just been into business. I think you've got to really love what you do.
Okay.
If you don't love what you do, then there's no point doing it, because you're going to get sick and tired of it. And for someone to be successful in what they do, they've got to 100% love what they do. I feel like you have to be resilient. People, they want instant gratification. They want to be successful overnight. It's not going to happen. In my current business, I had to work, I'd say 3 months, making no money, just to get the foundations of the business set.
Okay.
And I feel like most people aren't cut out for that. They want. With the job, what I like about it is it gives you consistency. Every month that your bills are getting paid, and it's comfortable. But if you're an entrepreneur, you're living on the edge.
Yeah.
1 month you might not make anything, but the next month you might make 5 to 10 grand.
Yeah.
All depends on factors that risk. Yeah, definitely. You've got to
Have you got a high risk appetite then? Is that what you're saying?
All entrepreneurs need an appetite for risk. I'm in one of the riskiest industries.
You're damn right.
Definitely. 1 minute you're a millionaire, next minute it could go all down like that.
Very quickly. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen to a ton of people.
Definitely.
And when that does happen, and especially in your industry, they'll often return to their education and then go back to the drawing board and start again. Because, what's worse, having it or never having it at all and losing it?
It's true.
Right, it's a tough thing. What about yourself?
Is it for everybody?
And what other, is it for everybody, and what are the key characteristics people need in order to make a success of it?
I think that you need to, firstly, you need to have a passion for something and have a drive for
So
something.
where did your passion come from for social media?
So
you love
for
it,
marketing,
dude.
I do.
Out of all the people, I've been working in this industry now for 4.5 years. Out of all the people, who I've met, I've connected you with someone else, Will Ferreira, right, who is also very passionate about social media. Shout out to Will. And I've connected you with him because I saw how similar in your passion for the game you were. Where did that come from?
I think it came from, I was building websites and stuff like that from like age 11, and by the way, that was the most uncool thing to do at the time. Like age 11, like what was I doing with my life if I was building websites rather than go outside and playing football or whatever.
What was that?
And yes,
I remember what I was doing at 11. I was playing like PlayStation every day.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So I had no interest in PlayStation or games, whether that be football or whether that be like online games. I didn't have any of that. Academia was okay. I wasn't like a brilliant student. Wasn't the worst student. I was sort of just middle of the road. But for me, it came from. I get this thrill when I see great results, and I get this thrill when I'm able to growth hack or grow something from baby stages to something much bigger. For example, I've got a client recently over the past week, and they're spending about 100K a month on ads, and I said, listen, let me take over for a week, and if you don't like what I do, then we'll part ways and stay friends. And I was able to growth hack them and increase their return on investment by 30% more than the previous week from executing on strategies that, quite frankly, we've learned together and from what you've taught me. And for me, that just gives me like such a thrill. And I'm so interested in it as well, because there's a huge amount of psychology in why do people make the decisions they do. And I think that I think marketers drive the business world and drive not only our tastes and preferences, but how we live and our satisfaction.
Definitely.
I think it's just such a big part of our lives. It's such a big part of our identity. The products that we consume is such a huge part of our identity. And marketers frame that. So marketers essentially frame how we live.
See what I'm saying about that passion?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying about that passion? I'm like, Put this on an ad right now.
Yeah, but basically, a marketers can influence, how we think about ourselves and what we do in our daily lives. Are the rituals that we do. Why do we eat cornflakes in the morning instead of eggs and bacon? Well, let's take a look at that shift.
Yeah.
Okay. Dramatic.
Okay. Interesting.
Influence in our lives. Yeah.
So, like I said, you can see the passion from the way this guy just speaks about marketing. Young entrepreneurship and the pressure. These are some topics that we can all relate to, because at some point I feel like we've all felt that pressure to be something more than this, the status quo, if you like, which is just follow the, even myself and Aran, we've got degrees. You haven't even come to that point in your life where you've made the decision, but who knows? You may still want to go and see what the other side is like, right? With a formal education. Why? I know we get advertised a lot too, because everyone's spending their time on social media. Is it for the better or for the worse that we're, a society now which is able to contact people so young, and we can be contacted so young? Because I was 23, 24 when I started, and I started through seeing an ad. That's where it clicked. Okay, why don't I just do this? There was a guy called Dave Rogenmoser who's now not doing anything in regard to social media agencies. He's got his own startup called Proof, right? But he was one of these quick, I'm going to pretend, I'm going to be a social media marketer today, see if it works, and if it doesn't, I'm going to go do something else, right? Very talented marketer. Is it for the better or is it for the worse that we have these tools available? Now, I know for myself, of course it's for the better, because what would I be doing without social media marketing and Facebook ads?
Definitely.
Right? Fuck, who knows? Probably doing security somewhere. I'll put it to you first, Aran. I mean, give me your input on a broader context.
Well, so there's obviously that's a massive question, right?
Fire.
Massive question. And so from a business perspective, I think that it is the amount of tools and resources we have today as business people is just unparalleled to any previous generation. Previous generations of business people, of entrepreneurs, had to go to banks to get loans to start up these storefronts. They had to buy stock. They had to, if they wanted to find something, they have to open a big yellow pages, call 10 people. Starting a business, you had to go into, the town hall and sign loads of documents. And there was a huge amount of bureaucracy, a huge amount of barriers. And if you wanted to acquire knowledge, where would you go? You would go to your local library, or you'd have to find someone, so on and so forth. So the amount of tools and resources we have as business people right now is absolutely crazy, to the point where you can start a business and get it up and running and get sales within the next 4 or 5 hours, I'd say, for literally. So from a business perspective, anyone, you can't call yourself an entrepreneur. You can't have an idea in your mind, love that idea, wholeheartedly believe in it, and not have anything to show for it. Then you're not an entrepreneur, because the amount of tools and resources you have from, like Aran said, social media and marketing and all this attention. The amount of attention that social media has and how underpriced that is absolutely phenomenal. So if you're not doing anything with that attention, and that doesn't have to be social media, you can run paid ads on Google, you can
posting through the letterbox.
Exactly, anything. And by the way, you can use, there is a company called Postery, where shout out to Postery, where you can literally send postcards to 10,000 people who could be potentially your customers, and that is basically out of a click of a button for you. So the amount of tools and resources we have as business people is absolutely crazy. Leverage it, take advantage of it.
Forget the business side. We all know that's good. Personally, because look, you've had your own battles, right? Where you've had to question. Shit, I'm doing all the things that I've learned to do that I know are successful practices. With patience, you got there in the end. But what's the effect? For better or worse. Let's talk about the personal side of things. Look, we all know business is it's a win-win for everybody. But what's the personal impact that it's had on your life? Not just the highlight reel. Give them the real talk, bro.
Okay. And are you talking about like the marketers, like the Tai Lopez's?
I'm talking about you.
No.
Homie, talk about you, homie.
I think that
In a broad context.
yeah, okay. In a broad context, it has an amazing effect on my life, but also
In the beginning,
quite
what was the effect? The pressure.
Negative. It was
Very negative.
a lot of pressure, and the reason why is because you see.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it is a lot of pressure because firstly, you see I'm marketed to every 5 seconds by everyone and anyone who claim to be entrepreneurs, doing exactly what I'm doing and claiming to make millions of pounds every month, and saying how easy it is and how quickly they did it. And then I look at myself and I go, ugh. So, you know, you can't help but make that comparison between someone else's journey and yours. And, you know, obviously their journey is marketed, hyped up, and quite frankly, a lot of the time, quite false. In order to get you to either buy into their channel or buy into their product or course. So that had a positive impact in sort of driving me forward, but also had a negative impact saying, you know, these guys are doing so well, but I'm not. What am I doing wrong? And then that applies to a broader context as well. If you see all these influencers, you know, driving the fancy cars, going on crazy holidays, working with amazing brands, you know, oh, I'm just a normal person, but take a look at me in LA, you know, having the time of my life in my new Range Rover, and, you know, looking absolutely stunning or looking, you know, great hair, great skin, so on and so forth. It puts a lot of pressure on people because people tend to feel quite inadequate, and that can happen in a financial context or a personal one. So I think on our mental health, I think social media can have a very, very devastating effect. And it did on me for quite a while because I used to see, you know, everyone I followed were either, you know, close friends and influencers. I mean, who else do you follow? You don't follow this random girl.
Strangers.
You just don't do that. And, you know, people are influencers for a reason. They're good looking, they're successful, so on and so forth. And if you see all this awareness, all this content being just driven down your throat, you can't help but make those comparisons between yourself.
How did you overcome them?
How did I overcome it?
How can someone overcome that? People are going through this right now. I mean,
That's,
everybody's going through it.
Yeah.
Everybody's opening their phone in the morning or whenever they open their phone, and they're seeing all of this hyper-produced, hyper-reality-based content.
I think first that there needs to be a realization that people cherry pick and choose what they post on social media. So, you know, I can make my life look incredible. I can have the worst day of my life. I can be fired from my job. I can have the worst day, but I can easily post, you know, a picture of me in the sun with a cappuccino going, my day is so great. Or, you know, I mean, these influencers could be crying all day and literally have the worst day of their lives and yet be in their Range Rover. I'd much rather be happy in a Toyota than crying in a Range Rover. So people cherry pick, and, you know, what you got to understand is these influencers are building personal brands for financial and business purposes. They're not doing it for you, they're doing it for themselves. Well, the majority of them are. I mean, there are a few exceptions, but
it's a business at the end of the day.
Business at the end of the day, and they're trying to build the awareness about themselves, hence why they're pushing content at you, but also the image.
Okay. So in terms of getting through that, right, you can say stop the comparisons.
Exactly. Stop the comparisons.
Not even make less. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Is my position. I mean, Hakeim, what about yourself? You know, in terms of the personal impact.
I think
that it's having on people right now, and bring any context from your own journey.
I think it's been great in terms of, you know, connecting people. Like in my business, you know, I'm connected with people all over the world through social media, but then again, it has a negative impact because people think that they have to keep up to date with people. Like, for example, the new iPhone just came out. People are pressured now to get the new iPhone to keep up to date, to be in that inner circle, when really it's not the case. You know, people need to be happy in themselves first. I think posting content, you know, you've got to be aware that these guys, the people that you're following, the people that are influencing you, they are doing it for business purposes. They are doing it because they want to build their personal brands, and that should inspire you to build your own. I think everyone should have their own personal brand, but it doesn't necessarily need to be the same as someone else's. You are unique in yourself. You need to be able to identify what you're good at and focus on your strengths. You know, everyone's focusing on their weaknesses and dwelling on their weaknesses when it shouldn't be the case, because everyone else is doing that for you anyway. You should find your strengths, double down on them, and create something special.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Personal brand then? You know, you just mentioned it. How do you build a personal brand? Well, I know that's why you're speaking to me in the first place. But how do you build a personal brand?
Personal brand, I think it starts with authenticity. You've got to know exactly who you are, what your purpose is, and what you want to achieve. Then from there, make a plan. You know, go and speak to people. Go and find people that are in your industry, and just become the best at what you do. You know, always be active on social media, because social media is the ground play of where you're going to find most of your business. I feel like, because last night just in bed just before I was about to go to sleep, I connected with someone from Sweden. You know, they've just joined my business, and I think that's amazing. I think the more you're on social media, you know, limit your, you know, I think social media can be great because it can connect people like the guy from Sweden, but I do find myself sometimes just wasting time, just scrolling through Instagram, Facebook when I should be working. I think that's one downside to it. But
do you notice yourself literally just get zoning out, literally just habitually opening up the app without even thinking?
Like last night, I had a list of 15 tasks to do. I probably completed about 8.
Was one of them be on time today? Shit. This guy's on social media this morning. Just, oh shit, I gotta go. What about yourself, Aran? Because you're in the game. You're helping people build personal brands.
Yeah, no, 100%.
What are the top 3 reasons people should, and why? Why are some of the reasons why people might hesitate to build a personal brand?
So top reasons why people should is that people do business with people. You know, people don't care that my brand is called Social Buff or your brand's called Social Agendas. No one cares about the company that you work for. People care about you, and so letting people have an insight into your life, whether photos of your dog or photos of you, you out having a walk, or you talking or giving value. So I think 1. 2, it provides an incredible platform to provide value. So obviously for your audience, they need to know things that you know. So basically it allows you to basically build a client. Build trust and build authority, and then obviously the last one is to get more business. And sorry, the reason why I hesitated there, because I was thinking about the hesitations of why people would not do their personal brands. Well, one is confidence. Are you confident enough to put videos like this out on social media? I'm not. Still not. Okay, I know that if I clip up this and put this on social, I'm going to be like biting my tongue so hard.
Why is that? I know why it is, but why is that? What are you overcoming? And look, you should be honest about this, because there's people out there who are having to I'm coaching people through the same thing that I'm coaching you through, which 100%. Is eventually you get to a place. Well, I'll let you give the reason why you're not at the forefront of pumping out mass content on your own personal brand. Why is that?
So, it's a fear of existing social circles that you may have from school or from friend groups that may not approve of what you're doing. Like, why are you going? Why are you doing? Like, are you better than us? Like, I don't think I'm better than anyone whatsoever. You know, I don't look down on people who have their own jobs, and I don't expect people to look down. In fact, I actually do expect people to look down on me for building my own business.
Why?
I just do.
It's mad.
Because I've been looked down on and been made fun of for building my business when I was at school. Yes. When I was young at school, you're building websites. What a loser! I don't think entrepreneurship is cool whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I hate the word entrepreneurship. We're just business people starting new things.
Yes.
I hate the word entrepreneurship.
What do you think about that, Hakeim? Cool. How can people overcome that fear of judgment that's been? Look, we're alternative, and that is, people think you're arrogant. Right, especially at the age that you guys started out, right? Definitely. I was a basketball player for the majority of my time period, right? Which people adored me for. They'd never felt any type of way because they knew that it was a safe bet. Aaron's a basketball player. They didn't have to question, should I become a basketball player? Does he think he's better than me because he's playing basketball? But as soon as I switched to business, all the engagement dropped. Now I'm talking about things where people, when they see the message, they think, who does he think he is? Right? How do you? I know how I overcome it, but I'm interested to learn how do people overcome that?
So how I overcome it was surrounding myself with positive people. You gotta find the people that are on the same mission as you. You know, Julie over there might not approve of what you're doing, but Aran does. You know, this is the circle you find yourself in, and
It's true.
you gotta realize that Julie is on her own journey. She might want to become a makeup artist. That's completely fine. You know, you shouldn't be concentrated on what other people are doing. Be concentrated on what you're doing and how you're going to better yourself in your business or your brand or whatever you're doing.
Yeah. So I think I'd second that, and I'll say it's about attracting people that are on the same journey and that are promoting the same principles. The one thing I've said, you know, I've been talking to you about is, look, I've got no drama in saying it because I don't give a shit, right? Because I've got to a place in my business where I realise, look, in those hard months, are any of these people putting food on my table?
No.
Are any of these people giving investment to fund my business? You know, no, they don't. They don't give a shit. And the thing that I noticed really quickly was, they're not thinking about you as much as you think they're thinking about you. We think, okay, we're posting, and look, I'm in the fortunate position now where I don't even post and publish my content, right? Because I don't have to, because I can focus my time on higher earning activities, which is what I've been telling you to do, right? And because of that, the blessing I have is I don't even have to consider the feedback unless it's an inquiry. So if I see negative and positive, so one of the ways that you can break that cycle is by putting a layer in between yourself and your audience, which will easily get rid of all of the negativity that will affect your day to day. I run so many ads, you run so many ads. There's a hell of a lot of fucking negative feedback. I've had death threats, I've had all sorts. I'm like, dude, it's just an ad. You know? I'm just trying to help you, bro. Stop trying to kill me, bro. But eventually you become numb to it because again you realise that dude who's feeling some type of way, he feels shit in his own life, right?
Then that's
it's not us. It's not me that's made him feel that way. I'm just the trigger that's enabled him to express how he feels about his own life. Now that's a massive thing that you need to understand. And look, at the end of the day, my stance on it all is, look, if you're not supporting me, no problem. But if you're adversely affecting my life, fuck you. For real. Like, I couldn't give two shits. You're out, you're done, you're blocked, deleted, finished.
You're irrelevant.
And that's how extreme I've become out of necessity. Because if I'm about to jump on if I'm about to jump onto a pitch and I've got somebody sending me death threats and I can let that affect me, that could cost me how much revenue per year in my business?
Definitely.
Right, which is why I need to say to you, but this is something that comes with experience, time, and also maturity as well. Look, look, as much as you look, you know, about the same age as me, you're still you got years on me, right? And after you've done this for so long, you just realise it's irrelevant. I really couldn't care less. And you've got to put that layer in between, or just get comfortable saying "fuck you." Real talk. Real talk. What do you think about that?
No, 100%. No,
but that's just my opinion.
No. And honestly, layer between you. I mean, I've also gotten death threats. I've also gotten
just negative feedback.
Negative feedback. I've been told to fuck off and so on and so forth. I've been got people like harassing my page and so on and so forth. Like, I've gotten that, and I was absolutely fine with it because it was a reflection on how he felt about himself, and I was totally fine with that. What I fear the most is people that I've previously been with in social circumstances judging my new journey and my new path.
And I think on top of that, right, sorry to interrupt, I think it's your manners. You are so polite. Seriously, you can tell this guy's a polite guy. Definitely. He cares about how he makes people feel, right? And you're so polite, and this is just my observation, it's just clicked in my head now. You've got such good manners and you're so polite that you don't want to offend somebody by your light shining brighter, and you've got to get comfortable with being the star.
It's true.
Real talk. Like, that is serious. That is what you need to accept, because you've chosen this journey now. You're so deep into this journey. You're doing so many big things, and now you've got to fulfill who you are and what you're bringing to the game. Hakeim, give me some insight. Give me some perspective on that.
I think
Have you had negative feedback? Have you had to deal with haters?
100%.
Of course you have, man. It's Forex.
Let me tell you, when I first started my business, you know, I was super passionate. I started my business when I was in college.
Yeah.
You know, I started going into college wearing a suit, and people would think, "Who's this kid?" They would laugh at me. They'd run away. They'd think, you know, what's this kid on?
Run away. Shit.
There's some people that did run away. They were like,
You're trying to close them. Close them in lesson. Listen, have you heard about Forex?
literally.
Nah, all seriousness.
And I think it got to a point where I had so many people coming at me that I just became immune to it.
Yes.
Because I realized I'm on my journey, they're on their journey. You know.
But how did you know, what gave you that realization? Did you speak to someone about it? Is it just you thinking, you know what, middle finger to the world, I'm on my own mission? What gave you that confidence to say?
You know what?
Because it's tough. That's tough.
It is tough, yeah, it is tough. I think one thing that got me through was, at the time I was going through a lot of spiritual development. I just read GaryVee's book, Crushing It. That gave me a lot of inspiration.
Don't say GaryVee around Aaron Spencer. It's like it's like a big red button, GaryVee. This episode is going to get prolonged by about 45 minutes now. Guys, GaryVee's super fan. Anyway.
You know what, yeah, but GaryVee was the starting point of my entrepreneurial success.
Yeah, for a lot of people, because I unfollowed GaryVee, sorry G. I unfollowed him, man.
With Gary, he's just straight to the point. He's like, you know what, clouds and dirt. And I live by that. I think you've got to have a big vision. You've got to have your goals. You've got to know exactly what you want, but you've got to back that by massive action.
Yes.
You've got to
100%.
You've got to, you know, you've made your own bed. If you're an entrepreneur, you've made your bed. You've got to sleep in it and make sure you're happy in what you do.
Yeah, 100%.
What did you learn from GaryVee now that we're on the topic? Go on. You've met him.
Yes, I have.
The legend. Yeah, look at this guy now. You're a super fan as well. You got
No, yeah,
You went to New York and met him?
Yeah. I flew to New York.
travelled all the way to
travelled all the way to New York to meet
with a picture of GaryVee. I need to see you, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, really, really cool. I think the biggest thing I learned from GaryVee is, well, A, is also just to obviously follow your passion and to do things, which I've always been very, very proactive with everything that I do. But the key thing that I've learned from Gary, and I have massive respect for him, is that you must have macro patience and micro speed. And what that means is that in the clouds, you need to be as patient as you possibly can be, to the point where, you know, you're going to leave money on the table for the long run. And then the micro then is really putting in the work in order to achieve that goals. And that, you know, it takes, you know, to even create 100K a year business, which to many business owners, you know, is like, you know, peanuts. It takes an incredible amount of hard work, and it takes an incredible amount of patience, even for my business to reach that.
And what did GaryVee learn from you? Anything? Good friend of yours now, isn't it?
Yeah, good friend.
I've seen you guys catching up often, FaceTiming and blowing kisses and all the rest of it. Alright, cool. Listen,
I wish.
Obviously, these guys got a lot to say. Reach out to them on their socials. Closing thoughts, guys. Look, what does the next 3 to 6 months hold for both of you? Either one of you jump in when, you know, what does the next 3 to 6 months hold? Shit, we got a guy at the window. For each of your businesses over the next 3 to 6 months, we got to ignore it.
3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
My goal is to reach.
One of your boys. Shit. One of Adam's old clients. He's like, hey, dude, where's my next shoot, man? We should go do one of them Ty Lopez ones, give him £200. Yeah, I want to give you £200, man. What do you? Don't spend it on alcohol and beer and drugs. That scared the hell out of me, man. Go on, 3 to 6 months, you got business. What are you doing, bro?
So in 6 months' time, we're in March now, so it'd be September. I'm actually flying out to Dallas to meet the whole of my organization, all over the world. My goal now is, I believe I've reached a point in my career that I think I'm comfortable in, but I just want to help other people achieve their own dreams. You know, people in my organization, I want to help them achieve their goals, and just help as many people. You know, with the power of Forex, you know, we're on our phones all day, every day. I think it's a great way of making an income. there's people in my organization now that have left their jobs purely because they've replaced their wage from Forex, and I find that so incredible. My ultimate goal by the end of the year is to have 1,000 people in this organization, all profiting, all generating an income through Forex.
Amazing.
And just finding their freedom. That's what I really want to achieve.
Awesome. Big dog.
For me, it's all about building a foundation. The agency for me is all about building both talent and revenue. So I want to have a team. I already have 3 people on board. So I want to have a talented team of creators, innovators, and mathematicians that are able to design, curate, and execute on campaigns that drive real results, and then use that platform and use that base to build other businesses, especially when the recession is just around the corner.
Well, there you have it, guys. Real Talk episode done. Thanks, fellas. Good job. Oh, who's your boy, man? Jesus Christ, I should have got him in it.